Welcome to PvP, Pitch versus Pitch, the show where two guys who have never made a video game before in their lives pitch inconceivable topics for video games.
Although we did conceive of them, actually.
That's right, we're actually pitching them on inconceivable topics.
Right.
Anyway, I'm Chris, producer at large here at Watch Mojo.
I am Dan, head of MojoPlays.
Indeed, and this is PvP. We're trying out a new format slightly today. It's just the two of us, and we're introducing the Pitch Zone, or PZ.
Or the PvPPZ.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Trips off the tongue. We got pitches today on Kanye West and
cheese.
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 That's right.
Very topical.
Yeah.
You can.
It's timeless.
Right.
It's timeless.
It's timeless.
But first, I want to know what you're playing this week, Dan. What are you playing?
Well, on Tuesday, which is probably already in the past for you guys, the new expansion for Destiny 2 comes out. So I've been trying to get back into Destiny 2 so I can be a competent reviewer. So I played about 2 hours of that the other night. But other than that, I've been playing South Park: The Fractured But Whole. I got it on Switch.
I want to play that so much.
It's
I loved Stick of Truth. I'm still on Witcher 3, man. I'm not playing much these days, but I'm finally into the expansion content.
Oh, which one? The Hearts of Stone, or?
I have both of them. I can't remember which one I'm playing first. Yeah, I guess I'm playing Hearts of Stone first.
Right.
And it's just weird, I feel like they became better directors by the time that the second ones came out.
By the time, definitely. Those expansions are capitalizing on everything that made the core game good. So.
Yeah, it's like before they would set up a scene with an establishing and then a two-shot and then over the shoulder, but now they're doing focus pulls and interesting framings, so I'm really enjoying that layer of it.
Do you find the guy in that looks kind of like David Beckham?
Yes.
Yeah. Your buddy is totally, I mean, he's got I guess it's like a historically accurate haircut, maybe, but it's fantasy, so it's not historically accurate, but he looks like just a regular dude.
All right, enough yik-yakking. Let's get into the pitches. We got Dan in the pitch zone. Let's hear your Kanye West pitch, Dan.
Okay, so my history game is either called Kanye's History Quest and/or Quick History with Questlove and Kanye. Don't want to tip my hand too much there. But, okay, after receiving a new prototype smartphone from a sponsor, Kanye discovers that when he tweets historically ignorant or insensitive messages and receives a huge amount of Twitter activity as a result, the phone overloads and rips the fabric of space and time asunder, transporting Kanye to the relevant period of history. When he arrives at these locations, he is guided by Questlove, who walks him through the various events, dropping knowledge, beats, and further historical context. I see this as kind of a mix of Magic School Bus and Mario is Missing, where you solve puzzles, help historical figures, and partake in famous events. There are, of course, musical numbers that explain the lesson that Kanye has learned at the end of each section once you have witnessed the crucial point in history and found the missing member of the Kardashian family who has also been transported through time and is lost in each episode. There we go. Yeah.
Wow, that was pretty quick. Okay, so it's like an educational history game with Kanye as your
avatar.
Your avatar, and Questlove as your guide. Okay, now Mario is Missing.
Right.
Notoriously boring game.
Right. I think nothing with Questlove and Kanye can be boring.
Okay.
So I think that would definitely spice it up. Also, that game was just bad fundamentally.
Yeah.
You can use that as a framework just for a trip through history that is learning, but obviously games have advanced a lot since then, so all of the knowledge of about 20 to 30 years of gaming history can be put into this adventure game to spice it up a little bit.
Okay.
Not to mention some musical numbers and sweet beats by Questlove.
Yep, that's good. That's good. You want to have Questlove, maybe the entire Roots crew involved?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Definitely join in at the end. Maybe they can be the collectibles that you find throughout.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Kardashians are pretty good collectibles or trophies, if you will.
Yes.
So the controls of it, is it like a platformer? Is it more 3D, open world?
I'm thinking more point and click, actually.
Ah.
Point and click. Very similar to Mario is Missing, if I remember playing that game correctly, but it was bad, so maybe I don't. Yeah. Definitely point and click. So you could click on different things and be like, oh, this is one of the wigs that they wore in 1876. They wore that. Their hair didn't really look curly and long. that sort of thing.
I see. So I think that in order to have Kanye involved in this, and I assume that we are going to license him, right? And
Absolutely.
he'll be involved. So I think he'll want to have some sort of like big powers. No?
Powers.
Yeah, like if he's just a guy who is ignorant and then rips open space and time because of it, which I really like, by the way. It's a good premise. I don't think he'll go for that, unless he's extraordinary in some way. Discuss.
You know what? Maybe we don't even need Kanye's approval for this one.
Oh, go unlicensed.
Yeah, I don't, I do think the brand power of having him on board would be good. You know what? Maybe we could sweeten, if we wanted to get him on board, maybe we could sweeten the deal, have collectibles be his fashion items.
Oh yeah, his shoes.
That would work. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what? If you can get him on board, or find a good way to work around getting the license, wait, actually, what platform is this on? Because you said point and click, and so I'm thinking retro, and so I'm thinking not a lot of graphics power.
No, no. Good. It doesn't necessarily have to be high graphics power, but I think this could be on all consoles. Specifically, I would love to chase the mobile market. Point and click is good for tablets and mobile phones.
Kids love using mobile phones and tablets, right?
Kids love them.
Yeah.
This is a fact.
And so if this is like a kid's, okay, I got it. That's how you position it to Kanye and the whole Kardashian empire is like.
It would be a great game for his children.
Yes, for his children, for all children, right? Because they risk becoming irrelevant to the next generation, right? But if they can get the next generation hooked, they'll be famous forever. And I say forever because they're working on immortality, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I assume that's what all rich people spend their money on, really.
Yeah, probably. So, are you down with that?
I would be down with anything that gets this game made. I'm willing to compromise.
All right, I will give this one, what was the title again?
Quick History with Kanye and Questlove.
Quick History with Kanye and Questlove.
The Q would be
a
the question mark, and
like,
the K would be just the capital K for Kanye.
Yeah, nice.
Quick.
Yes, I will give Quick History with Questlove and Kanye a green light. Congratulations.
All right, Chris, buddy, I know I am a tough act to follow, so let's hear what you got in the pitch zone.
Thank you, Dan. I think you will be pleased. This is called In Kanye-sation, like conversation, but Kanye-sation.
Got it.
So, in the song Power, Kanye uses a sample from King Crimson that says 21st century schizoid. In the context of his song and that album, and given what we've seen of Kanye in the past, it's very possible that Kanye is revealing, or at least portraying himself, as a schizoid-affected person. Now, schizoid personality disorders are different from schizophrenia, not the same thing. Characteristics include a difficulty to connect emotionally with other people. Schizoid people prefer to live in fantasy worlds. In fact, a highly developed, rich internal world is a defining characteristic of the disorder. Now, whether this diagnosis applies to Kanye or not, it's not for me to say. But either way, I find him a fascinating interview subject, and so those are the two things that I'm riffing off of here. Now, the whole story of this game takes place during a Kanye interview, but the settings between but the setting switches between Kanye responding to interview questions, which plays out in real time, and his internal fantasy worlds, in which epic quests play out in the blink of a real-world eye. Okay? So in interview mode, you use timed dialogue trees to navigate the conversation. The goal here is 1, to reinforce your over-the-top egomaniac persona, and most crucially, 2, avoid having to connect emotionally to your interviewer and the audience. Okay? You always have the option to be cryptic or hyperbolic or inflammatory or nonsensical, and those choices will reinforce your persona, but it costs Kanye power. Okay? If you have insufficient Kanye power, you are forced to use to answer honestly, and that can expose you emotionally. You earn Kanye power by performing well in your fantasy world quests, and I'll get to that in a second. So the interviewer may ask something like, what are you going to name your next daughter? And if you have Kanye power, you may answer something like far, far west, or new, New West, because she'll be the newest child, or Cleopatra, Queen of the Nile, West. But if you don't have enough Kanye power, you have to say Donda, because that was my mom's name, and I miss my mom so much, and this is the greatest way I could think of to, to honor her. I'm sorry. Uh-oh, the audience feels they might be able to relate to you. Look out, you're in trouble. So, yeah, look out. Hold on. So let's talk about these fantasy world stages.
Let's.
Yes, let's. They mostly revolve around Kanye being both all-powerful and usually universally reviled, right? That's kind of like what he has going on. So since he used a lot of that Egyptian imagery on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, one obvious level has to be him as an Egyptian god, running through temples and pyramids, slaying hordes of haters, many of whom he curses for choosing to be slaves, by the way. Yeah.
Topical.
Topical.
Topical and cutting.
The gameplay here is like a less challenging Assassin's Creed. And I say less challenging because Kanye never loses in these worlds, right? He can't lose. He's always victorious, just to different degrees, right? The more victorious, the more Kanye power you earn. Time plays a factor here too. You take too long on the quest, and that translates to precious seconds in the real world. And in the real world, if you take too long to reflect before responding to a question, then people will think that your persona is too calculated. So the world of your fantasies can also influence the actions, your actions in the real world and vice versa. So for instance, if Kanye stumbles on that baby question, his progress in the quests may be slowed by, you know, zombie Dondas, his mom attacking him.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, I know, that'd be brutal, but that's the way it is. That's how beautiful and dark and twisted his fantasies are. So winning looks like this in the post game. Kanye's reputation, such as it is preserved. His persona continues to be inflated, which inspires haters and boycotts and op-ed pieces and TMZ pieces. And this is Kanye's fuel, right? It allows him to keep creating and being Kanye. As he says, jeers from the haters got a nice ring to it. I guess every superhero needs his theme music. That's straight from him. So cutscenes show you, if you win in the end game, the cutscenes show you recording albums using 4,000-piece orchestras and designing shoes that are actually burlap sacks that sell for $800, and cloning a younger, more plastic Kim for you to marry. It's just Kanye being Kanye. If you lose, in other words, if you're too human in an interview, people just stop caring. Right? And nothing's worse than that. Nothing's worse than that for Kanye. So the cutscenes at the end then will show a gray and bearded Kanye performing like acoustic Taylor Swift covers and posting them on YouTube and getting about 1,000 views. So that'd be kind of sad, really. So there you have it. That's in Kanye-sation. Thoughts?
Well, Chris, that was a journey.
Thank you.
First of all, I must say, excellent research. You know, you referenced the man's music a lot. Gotta like that, and your contextualization of schizophrenia versus schizoid, very informative. Now, I would say this almost should be a novel, or at least a visual novel game, rather than action adventure. I think the gameplay would almost slow this adventure down, if that makes any sense. You don't want to, you want to keep moving through it, if that. Yeah. But man, what a journey we just went on, you and I. That was pretty serious. I don't know how I missed it, but there's more levels that I had in mind that I didn't put on my cards somehow. Like in one, Kanye's self-proclaimed title of greatest artist who ever lived is put to the test, and you have to out guitar solo Jimi Hendrix, you have to out sculpt Rodin, you have to out fashion design Donatella Versace, you have to outsell Michael Jackson. Outsell? Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, that again, you know, you're talking about legal troubles. That whole section there might get you in a little bit of hot water.
You're right.
But
Right.
so you saw this more as an action adventure? I'm harping on the genre here.
No, I think that's key, and that's where I could use some help in developing this, right? Because like the time dialogue trees seem like a great choice for me. You know, very Telltale-esque, and with consequences to, you know, the outcome of the game. The in-between spots, they should feel different than that, right? They're very much not like talking and choosing what to say. It's got to be hyperbolic action. You know what I mean?
Okay, that makes sense. I understand. You got to create a solid break between the two.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And you don't think that could be done with like musical and artistic choices? You know, just like a drastically different art style in his fantasy worlds, as opposed to sort of a drab, desaturated, very plain interview setting.
Yeah, maybe. And so you'd see just like that Telltale style going all the way through.
Right.
Oh shit, maybe this is just a Telltale game.
Yeah, I think we got something here. And I really like the framing device of the interview as sort of an anchor that we keep coming back to.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Like, okay. Well, this is maybe workshop it and come back in a week kind of green light.
I'm free in a week.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fantastic. I'm definitely looking forward to our next Kanye-sation about this.
See what you did there. Okay, Dan. Lightning round. Give me a cheese game in a minute. Go.
Okay. My game is called Cheese World Dig. It's sort of like Steam World Dig / Metroidvania, but with cheese instead of rocks, and you're a mouse who's just survived a factory explosion and are now caved, excuse me, you're a mouse who's just survived a cheese factory explosion, and you're now caved in, completely boxed in by cheese, forcing you to dig yourself out. At first, you can only move through the softer cheeses, the Bries, the Blues, but after acquiring certain items, you can move your way up to the Goudas, Old Cheddars, and yes, even the Parms, and make your way out.
What are those items that you acquire? How do you power up?
Like a lighter, a little nail that you can use as a pick, a set of wind-up dentures that can chomp its way through things. I'm looking at all items that are technically household items that exist in the real world, but are deployed in unconventional sets.
So you're like an anthropomorphized mouse?
Yeah,
like
a little bit.
You can equip yourself with items and such?
I'm assuming right as I'm talking right now, there is some footage of Ghost of a Tale behind me. I'm thinking this little guy was heavily an inspiration for me. It's Ghost of the Tale mouse. It's really cute.
All right, what platform?
Exclusively in Nintendo Switch. Let's sell some frickin' systems here.
All right, if it's on Nintendo Switch, green light.
Cristobal, lightning round. Hit me. Do it.
Cheese Tycoon. It's a lot like the old DOS game Pizza Tycoon, but instead of creating pizza recipes, you're working with cheese recipes. You gotta choose your kind of dairy or other substrate, calibrate the mix of bacteria, experiment with fermentation and aging methods, distribute your products, grow your empire, etc. Now, we release this on all platforms, free to play, and here's why. The bacteria simulation part is actually a sophisticated computer modeling of real bacteria. So you, as the publisher of the game, are collecting all this raw data on cheese recipes, and soon you'll have crowdsourced the R&D necessary to create the best cheese in the world. The players think that they're the cheese tycoons here, but no. You are the cheese tycoon.
Chris, you had me at immoral data harvesting. That's all I ever need to hear. Immoral data harvesting is basically what I live for.
Yeah.
So that's a hard green light. Go right through.
I mean, hey, it won't all be immoral. Everything is spelled out in the end user agreement. It's all there.
Nobody ever reads that.
No one does.
But haha, lets us get away with murder. Let's do it. Green light. Absolutely.
Yes. And that's it for our pitches. Tell us who you thought had the stronger pitches. Find the link to the Watch Mojo Suggest tool in the description so that you can tell us what topics we should do next. Vote for our next topics. We're having a hard time coming up with them on our own. We need your help.
Yeah.
Be sure to like and subscribe to MojoPlays. Subscribe to this podcast if you're listening to it. By the way, if you're watching this video, it's a podcast. If you're listening to the podcast, it's also a video. We're everywhere. You can't get away from us. Anyway, thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Chris.
I had fun. Thanks to Manny in the control room. Be sure to like and subscribe, and check out us again for more PvP pitch versus pitch action.
Woo! I think you got everything.
Yep.
Thanks for watching Mojo Plays. Be sure to subscribe and click on the link in the description below to check out our suggestion page and vote on what content you'd like to see us cover next.